Hello teachers, welcome to Para Maestros podcast. This is the English version. Para Maestros means for teachers only. Here we will talk about education, everything related with our profession, from the perspective of Latin America and from the perspective of other teachers from around the world. We will have opinions, interviews, and lots of information about education, and I hope you enjoy it. And welcome to another episode of Para Maestros Teachers. This is the English version. This podcast is dedicated for education and the well-being of our students also. So today we're going to talk about a fascinating topic, which is restorative practices in Latin America. Juan Andrés.
Hola, Carolina. I'm so glad to be here with you in your podcast. Yes, restorative practices are becoming increasingly popular in the educational field, and for good reason. It's an approach that promotes conflict resolution in a peaceful way, in a constructive way, and creating a more positive and harmonious school spaces and climate.
Yes, exactly. Restorative practices are not just a way to resolve conflicts, but also an opportunity to strengthen the relationships between students, teachers, and the school community as a whole. In this episode, we're gonna explore how these practices are being implemented in different countries in Latin America and how can we apply them in our own classrooms and our own environments. Let's start by talking about the origins. Well, excuse my accent, of restorative practices. Did you know that they have roots in indigenous communities around the world, not only New Zealand? I didn't know that.
Yes, I find this very interesting because some aspects of indigenous cultures are reflected in these practices. Restorative practices are based most on the values such as community responsibility and repairing harm. These ideas are fundamental in many indigenous cultures and have been passed down from generation to generation. And now we can implement these values and practices in our schools and classrooms.
And it is fascinating to see how these ancient traditions have had the answer to the modern world problems. We haven't listened. We haven't been listened.
Mm-hmm.
And they
We
can
have
have
to learn.
we have to learn. And they can have a very positive impact in education. But let's go to concrete. Let's now do and learn from some concrete examples and how restorative practices are being implemented in Latin America. One example is Tijuana, Mexico, and I explain in Spanish. I say in Spanish, Tijuana, Mexico. In Tijuana, Mexico, they have a project, and this project allowed all public schools in that area to implement the peace and conversation circles, playful circles, and healing circles. These circles aim to prevent bullying at school, violence, and promote culture of respect and dialogue among students. Very cool.
Yes. In a Tilata school in Bogota, for example, trust circles strengthen relations between teachers and students. And these circles allow teachers to get to know each other better as people, share their concerns, and support each other on their daily work. It's very important to have these among the teachers to have a good environment, to have a good work climate.
I agree. And it is very important for the teachers to feel supported and listened to. I think trust circles can create more positive and collaborated work environment with benefit the entire school community. Mm-hmm. Well, let's keep going talking about Mexico. They have a lot of examples. In Guadalajara, I like the way it sounds. Guadalajara.
Guadalajara.
Yeah, I love it. They have a program called Circles for Peace. Communication. That it's like a communication and culture in the basic education. It's being implemented. This program uses different tools such as drawing and interviews to raise awareness among children about the importance of peace and nonviolent conflict resolutions. Huh? Cool. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It seems like a very creative way, right?
Yes, it's very creative way to approach these topics with children, and it's important to that they learn from early age to communicate effectively and to resolve their problems peacefully. That is very important.
Yeah.
And in Bolivia, in Pampahasi. I think in
Pampaasi.
Spanish it's
What do you
Pampahasi.
think? Yeah, pampaasi, or maybe in any indigenous, because it might be an indigenous word.
Pampahasi. It's it should be near to the border with Brazil, maybe.
Probably. Well, maybe it's, yeah.
Pampahasi. Okay, in Bolivia, they implement a restorative practice program that has had a positive impact on the school's community. The program has improved communication between students and teachers and has reduced levels of violence and bullying in the schools. This is very, very, very interesting, and it's another practice in Bolivia. It's
It's
very
it. And it was a research, no? It seems like it
based
went
on
very well.
research. Yes.
Because we teachers should research too. Who says that we cannot, right? We should research too. It's part of our
Yes.
profession. Sometimes people don't think that we can research. Yeah, we can. We can research. We have the resources. If we have the resources in the data, we can research too. So that's a very clear example of how restorative practices can transform the culture of a school and create a safer and more positive environment for everyone. So let's talk about Bogota. Let's go back to Bogota again. And this is an amazing number. 391 schools. 391 schools tell us how they have implemented restorative practices. It's a lot of schools. This is partly due to the importance of a social and emotional education, restorative justice, and pedagogies of the memory of the truth to build schools as a territories of peace in the frame of the peace agreement done in 2016. So this is very, very impressive. The part that I like the most is the
social and emotional skills.
and
And the
that's
truth,
territories of truth, memory of and truth. Yeah.
Two very important issues: truth and restorative justice. This is very
Yes.
important in the schools in Bogota, and are the most schools of the of Bogota are implementing these
Yeah, I
restorative
mean,
approach.
391, that's a lot. And then we can say, what I like the most is that part where it says peace, territories of peace. The schools are territories of peace. Oh, that I love. I really think it's very important that we have to have safe schools as much as we can. So that is so important. So
if you are interested in implementing restorative practices in your own schools, there are many resources available to help you get started and to implement this.
That's true. Yeah, an excellent option is the International Institute for Restorative Justice, IIRJ. The IIRJ offers a wide range of resources, including training, educational materials, and online library. Wow.
Materials is essential.
Very. What another? Do you have another?
Another valuable organization is the Center for Restorative Justice in Schools, CRES. This institution offers specific resources for educators, including practical guides, assessment tools, and case studies. This is very useful.
Case studies are very useful. Very useful. I remember the Plan B, they have case studies too. Quite interesting. So in addition to this organization, you can also find online resources. A lot of online resources, such as articles, videos, and blogs on restorative practices in education. Yep.
And Carolina, it's very important to remember that this is not a one-size-fits-all formula for implementing restorative practices. The most important thing is to adapt this approach to the specific needs and the context of your own schools and community.
True, true, true. And it's important to know that there are many resources. These two institutes, I think they have English versions. We're not sure. I know I didn't see English version because I was looking in Spanish, but we will put some links below so you can see the schools. We have some videos on that. So some of them have English subtitles, some of them don't. But you can see some examples of these circles implemented, so you can check it out. Just look at the links that we're going to provide for this episode. And if you want to implement restorative practices, please do it in a different way. We have to move forward. Education has to move forward.
That's true. And we encourage you to explore more about restorative practices, consider how you can implement them in your own schools. We believe that its approach has the power to change the way we educate our children and create a brighter future for all. That's our goal, and just what we want with this podcast. That you
teachers, thank you.
And other tools.
Yeah, teachers, thank you for joining us in our journey today of the world of restorative practices in Latin America. We hope this podcast has inspired you to learn more about this topic and take action on a positive change in your own schools. So please, if you have questions, if you want to know more, if you really say, "Oh, I want to know more about this or that," please text a comment on the video. Tell us and follow us so you can have more information. So we will be happy to answer all your questions. And thank you for being here. Till the next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, teachers. Stay curious. Connect with me on social media and explore my website. All the links in the description below.